Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Weekly Dose of Dano TV. I'm so excited to bring you Carlos Moreno Jr., the superstar in Hollywood. That if you don't know him already from his countless amazing roles in many different movies and TV shows in the industry, then you're gonna get to know him here personally on Weekly Dose of Dano TV. And his energy, his words are just so eloquent, and he is the perfect guest and the epitome of what I want to bring to you guys week in and week out to my positivity posse. So thank you so much for being here. I know we took about a little bit, I think it was a 2 week break. The end of the season, end of the year, holidays, all of that great stuff. And it was actually the longest break we've ever took for Weekly Dose of Dano TV. But I appreciate you guys, all my viewers, all my listeners coming back to enjoy this great content with Carlos Moreno Jr. So Carlos, what do you have to say to everybody before we get started today?
First of all, I want to say Happy New Year still because I am still in the new year. I'm so grateful to be here, my brother. I'm super excited to share whatever I have, the insight, whatever spirituality, whatever tonterias, fun stuff that I know, and I'm really excited to be here. So I'm blessed and I'm really grateful. So dale gas.
Perfect. If you guys couldn't feel the energy already, then I don't know what you're watching because it's time to get ready for another episode of Weekly Dose of Dano TV. Do whatever you have to do to raise your vibrations, whether that's liking the program, sharing, or even just leaving a simple comment or a heart, because all of those things let me know and let yourselves know that we are here together enjoying this great content. So, everybody get ready because it's time for another episode of Weekly Dose of Dano TV. Let's go, everybody. Oh, I got to put myself a little bit bigger. There we go. Thank you so much for being here, whether you're live or on the replay, wherever you're watching from, whether you're in Australia, the United States, and everywhere in between. Thank you so much because we appreciate you here on Weekly Dose of Dano TV. And you already know we have to have our little moment, our little powwow, just to make sure you guys are actually, living life to the best of our abilities and everything that we do. And I know that may sound cliche, that may even sound a little bit corny, but these are the moments that when we check in with each other, we know that we are pushing each other to the best of our ability. And that's what it's all about, right? Accountability. Because if we don't have that between each other and we don't have that honesty and that rapport, then nobody else is going to do it. And it is very important to have that moment of self reflection. So today's topics that I want to talk to you, well, just really one topic because we have so much to cover with Carlos. But the most important thing that I want to share with you guys today is about the different virtues that are available out there in the world. So there's the virtue of discipline, there's the virtue of love, there's the virtue of, always kindness, and there's the virtue of so many different things that you can find out there. I can name at least 20 off the bat, but the one that I want to share with you guys, which I think is the most important, is the virtue of gratitude and being grateful or being appreciative for everything that has happened in our lives, whether they may be good things or bad things. And I put the quotes around good and bad because everything is subjective, right? It's all about how you view it. And that's why gratitude is the most important virtue that is out there, that exists, right? I know the classic example of me growing up in the hood, things were not as easy as somebody that have may have grown up in a wealthy area or an affluent area, but there have been so many lessons that and just character building pieces that I've learned growing up here that it just really I'm just so grateful for it all, right? And if I were to not have that attitude of gratitude, because it sounds good and it's pretty funny, right? But if I don't have that um, gratitude in everything that we do, it's not going to transpire in every in all the outcomes that happen to us. So let me just give you a quick example. One of the things that I've learned about growing up in a tough area is when we start to appreciate the outcomes and what happens if you go down a wrong path, or if you decide to join a gang, or get involved with drugs, which is things that we would never want to do. But you see the outcomes of what those roads lead to. So that's one of the reasons why I'm very grateful of growing up in these types of scenarios, and in a rough environment. But also, it also really helped me develop that attitude of grit, and nothing is ever going to stop me. And if I got to work 3 times as hard to get to that next level that I need to do, then that's okay, because I've seen what it's like to be not where I want to be. So when you have that attitude of gratitude, everything else will be affected by that. And even if it's somebody walking down the street, right, and they look at you and they say, "Damn, you're very ugly," or "You are very stupid." When you have that attitude of gratitude, you say, "Okay, well, thank you for that. I'm going to sit with that. I don't even believe that about myself, but I'm very grateful that you shared that with me, because you showed me that you are not comfortable within yourself, and that that's just the type of person that you're going to be. So now I know that I won't have to entertain that." And you can just be grateful that somebody said that you have that thick skin, and you can move on from it as well. And that's all that I have to share with you guys for today. There's so many things that I want to cover, but I'm telling you, you are going to want to stick around all the way into the end for Carlos's story. It's really, really incredible. There's a lot of similarities that we have within our stories, and I know that you will find very, very similar themes, and maybe even events that have taken place within Carlos's story and your story as well. So, everybody, I need you to do everything that you possibly can to welcome Carlos onto the show. I need to see a fire emoji. I need to see a heart emoji, something to welcome, even if you're just sending positive energy to Carlos, not in the comments, by doing whatever you have to do and just sending it. We will really, really appreciate it. And you are going to appreciate all of his golden nuggets that he is here with us today to share. So, everybody, welcome Carlos onto the chat, man, and onto the weekly dose of Dano TV. Carlos, what are you doing back there, man? Stop practicing your acting skills. It's time to come onto the show. Oh, wait. I'm not Carlos. Here he is. There he
Hey,
is. Carlos,
hey,
how you doing?
brother, man, it's good to be here on a Thursday night with your mundo, and I'm so happy that I could share whatever I have to with our mundo together. I'm doing fantastic and ready to rock and roll, or ready to guac and roll.
Ready to guac and roll. I like that, because you're ready to mix it up. You're ready to get in
Yeah,
there and
I'm a little
share the.
spicy too. I'm a little spicy.
There it is. There it is. I love it. So, Carlos, we have so many things that we have to cover for today. It's really incredible to have you here right now. I can't see the name, but love Carlos Moreno Jr. Thank you so much for sharing that. I believe it says Michael. So, thank you so much for sharing that as
Thank you,
well.
Michael.
Perfect. So, Carlos, let's get right into it. I know we have so many things that we have to talk about, so let's just get right to it.
Yep.
So, when it comes to your story in the very beginning, you have come from a family of farmers and workers that have just come in and day out, just constantly serving the greater good for everybody else. And from my research that I've done about you, when you were working in those fields, or the farms, or everywhere that you were working, you were always daydreaming about where you are right now. And a lot of people, from whatever it may be, negative friends or negative programming that they experience, we kind of forget about our dreams and the power of dreaming. So, can you talk about how the power of dreaming has helped you, and why it's so important that we always do everything that we can to live out our dreams?
Yeah. So the whole thing about dreams is dreams can become into reality if you actually assert yourself. Like you plan it as much as you can, but then when you go there, you don't know where it's going to take you, because all of a sudden the road splits not into 2 ways but into 5 ways, and then where do you go from there? So coming from the fields, you get to learn how to have that strength, how to be that individual that's not gonna hold back because you work more than 8 hours a day. You work 20 hours a day. You work in the nights. You work during the days. You work with snakes. You work with snapping turtles and tornadoes, storms. So that just builds your character. So putting that dream and thinking about it when I used to, because I started working as a very young kid, you every day was the same dream, man. I could be picking asparagus and it's the same dream and pushing over. So my grandfather and my dad sometimes would be working in the fields of the dill pickle, like the pickles that we eat. And that's really hard labor. And I remember getting early in the mornings with like all of this like fog and cold, and the leaves were wet, bro. So you get in with your jeans and your boots, and you know that this part's gonna get wet too as well as soon as you put your hands down there. And I remember as a kid, I used to look all the way at acres and acres. I'm talking many, many acres, like huge fields, like about a quarter of a mile to half a mile this way and then that way. And I would look there in the mornings, and this is my grandfather. Hey, mijo, don't look over there, because by the time you know it, you're gonna get there. Just don't look. Look right in front. And he was right. So I've taken this dream the same way. Just do your work. Do it right now. Don't look over there. Yes, you have a target because you want to get there, but do not, because otherwise you keep on looking, bro. It's so far away, you're not gonna be able to catch it.
Of course, of course, and I love that. That is such a great analogy. A lot of people like to think down the line, which is great, but if you are constantly focused on down there, you're not focused on what you need to do right now. And when you do start to live out your dreams and all of these great things start to happen where you get, magazine covers or awards, you're not going to really know how to appreciate that thing that you got because you're going to be worried about tomorrow and tomorrow. And that analogy is so amazing. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes,
And
and being grateful because you brought that opening, which I can totally relate. The work that you do, and I always say this to my people that I direct, cast or crew. It's like, hey, you do it from your heart, and hearts follow. Don't do it because it's an idea, but do it because it's real inside, and people smell that, man. They can sense it if it's a little BS or if it's genuine. And I like to work with artists because I could, like, I was joking with you earlier, right? And it's an honest, work in that relationship. So if you do it with your heart, truly, and it could be the worst project, I don't care, because I've done a lot of really bad projects too. But the idea that it's there and it's yours, and nobody can take that away from you, and you continue to build that, and eventually wherever those roads, like I said, there's five or whatever, you'll end up going. Just make sure that you look up and you look at that dream. Don't take your eye away from it, because then you'll end up in Albuquerque. Nothing's wrong with Albuquerque, but
yeah.
that's in Albuquerque. I was supposed to go to LA and I'm in Albuquerque.
Yeah. Yeah, off the track. You're not where you were shooting for, not where you're aiming for. 100%, man. And yeah, I kind of want to talk about what you just mentioned about bad projects. Now, obviously, if they're not very successful, or maybe the script writing could have been a little bit better, that could be an example of a bad project. But you know what? I kind of want to spin that because you learned what you didn't want to do in future projects, and you got those mistakes out. So, can you tell us about one of those bad projects that you have and what you learned
Yeah,
from it?
yeah. It was basically my schooling, how to get better at it. It was one of my very first acting projects where it's like it was very dramatic, and there's no humor or irony or charm or sensuality. It was just revenge. Like the Latin telenovelas. Every I love you, and oh yeah. So it was very one note. That's what I'm saying. But I got to learn and make it up and down, and got different levels eventually. And so it's not that they were bad, but it was a school that I learned how to eventually not to just be one note. So they're not really bad, but it is a learning experience, just like life. Life ain't bad.
Yeah, I agree with you. Life isn't bad. It depends on how you look at it. There's so many people, whether they're looking at social media or the news out there, that's when they can start to develop that negative mindset. But if that's all that you're looking at,
Absolutely.
then that's all you're going to throw out, and that's your perception of what it's going to be. Versus thinking, wow, there's so much land in this world that you can live 30 lifetimes of just traveling, and you'll never get to experience it all. What about those beautiful pieces and the cultures?
Yeah, like I have several projects, but some of the projects I went to an event, and this is really crazy. It was an event. It was a birthday party for Tommy from In Living Color. You know, the actor from In Living Color, and he had a birthday batch, and I met this individual there, and I hadn't seen him like in, I don't know, 5 6 years, and he goes, "Hey man, how you doing?" And I say, "Pretty good." And I looked at him, and I looked at him. He says, "So are you still doing that project?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I said, "Why?" And he goes, "Oh, I'm just asking. You're still doing this project? It's a movie that I've been trying to do." And I well, yeah, I am. And I moved to the side, and I said, he was supposed to be my producer for the project. The reason why that project wasn't developed was because his heart was not into it.
Hmm.
So for him to tell me circumvent, years later, to say that, I got a little bit like, this is the reason why it didn't work, because it wasn't meant to be with that individual. So in an essence, you just got to do the work that you know, and do it like, and don't believe anybody else. Just go like la 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 la. Learn from your mistakes, look at other movies, other directors, other actors, learn from them, and get better at it, because the only way you can get better at it is by practicing, being more repetitious. So that gentleman, it was a good thing that I didn't work with him, because eventually it was never going to happen, because the guy didn't believe it. He was just in it for money, quick
Hmm.
change. And I'm in it. This is a project about heart. It's a project about life. It's a project about individuals. It's a project about humanity. It's not a project about, no disrespect, like the shirt that you have right there with superhero, because that's a whole different movie. And there's enough movies for both of us.
Yeah.
So I turned that, and I smiled, and I'm sure I'll meet him again, and it's okay. But your heart's got to be in it, man. Otherwise, do not do it. Go do something else.
Yeah, 100%. And, we're just going to bring it back to the attitude of gratitude because you were thankful to say, I knew that it wasn't going to work anyway. So if you were with them, you probably would have been miserable, questioning why things aren't taking off. But instead, you kept your peace and you can use that energy to use, towards your future projects. And one of those projects is Pepito's America. So everybody, you're going to want to stick around to the end of the show because we're going to go into details about what that is. We're going to put that on the shelf for now because we have a few other things that we need to talk about. And I know you are bilingual, and
See,
when it comes to your maybe your accent or maybe that language barrier, a lot of people have barriers in their lives, but I couldn't even comprehend what you had to go through in order to overcome that language barrier. So, can you talk about how, like, has that language or learning a new language, did that kind of help you with your roles that you have selected in the future, or was that more of a hindrance?
okay, this is a story. I haven't said this before, so I'm saying it first time here. Um, I, I went to university, right, and Spanish is my first language, right, and I had a thick accent, much more than I have now. And I went to university, and eventually I booked my first movie. I was tapped Hartley into the union at the age of 23, 20, and nobody wanted to do scenes in class with me because I had a thick accent. I look like this. Nobody know what the hell who I was. You know what? They were teaching me how to do Irish accents. I'm like, do I look like an Irish? And I was like, I need to learn Cuban, Puerto Rican, like the Latino stuff, but the university couldn't provide that. So I learned the really bad Irish. Anyhow, so I didn't have a lot of opportunities in theater in class. And I booked a movie, like I said. It was my first big feature. It was a Chinese, Japanese American Western, and I was a Native American. I had long hair up to like right here, like really straight. And I got into the union, and all of a sudden, all like the students around me, they're like, "How did you get in? Like, what did you do?" And I said, "I just went and I auditioned." That's it. It was so simple. But interesting enough, this is where sometimes the people want to shatter you. Even though I booked the part and I did all that, I got kicked out of the university. Okay,
What?
I got kicked out of university.
You
I'm
would
still
think
waiting
that
for
they would
my
be
paper. Yeah, I was hoping that at least by now I would get a diploma because I'm still working at it, but they haven't sent that diploma. It was my junior year, almost going to the senior year. It was the spring. It was the second semester, and because I booked the movie, I was out for almost 3 months. I was learning how to do, ride horses and with ropes and all this other stuff. And I was on set every day. I had rehearsals and stuff. And I asked the professors to help me out, and they said, no, brother. They said no. And I was like, what? So I
Wow.
got my money and I said, see ya. And I came over here. So the accents then came here. I saw myself like a real guy. This is a real person. Hey, if I have an accent, I own every inch of myself. And I put it and as a matter of fact, I get more parts because of an accent. Because I can do a Latino accent, I can do a Puerto Rican, I can do a Cubano. I did Dexter with a Cuban accent. And it has opened me for more opportunities. So I tell my friends que son de Mexico or from other Latin countries, hey, don't lose your accent. Learn how to speak English, and always go back to your language because it is what makes you unique. Actors need to do all this stuff, but it just I had more opportunities because of it because they were looking for a bilingual guy and they couldn't find it. Hey, right here, man. And I'm studied and well versed, and so you get the opportunity. So it didn't hinder. I actually opened it up and I embraced it and went with it because I went to the bank and I wrote a check. But I mean, I took the check to the bank. That's what I meant to
Yeah, and that's the best form of success that there is. Nobody could take that away from you, right?
say.
And I really love the fact that you said that too. Whatever it is that you think might be your scar or your flaw, that's most likely the thing that's going to really open you up and set you apart from this world, right? I
Yeah.
know there can be so many different things that happen. I know this one girl, she's a when she was younger, she got, sexually abused, but now she actually turned that into her strength, and
Yeah.
now she wants to use that to help other people that have been that way, and that's really her passion in her journey.
See,
So, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
your assets. I mean, your liabilities that you think are your biggest assets.
There it is. There it is. All about the perspective. That's what we're telling you guys here on Weekly Dose of Dano TV. So, Carlos, we just have to hear a word from our first sponsor. And everybody, don't go anywhere. Make sure you're liking, you're sharing, you're doing everything that you have to do to throw in the great energy into our program, which in turn, you're not just doing it for us, you're throwing it out into the universe, and you're just going to receive it right back tenfold. So, everybody, like, share, do whatever you have to do to raise your vibrations. And we're going to hear a word from our first sponsor of the day. So everybody, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. So, everybody, thank you so much for being here. Welcome back to Weekly Dose of Dano TV. We are here with Carlos Moreno Jr., absolutely legendary actor, writer, director, and everything that he wants to put his mark on, he's going to make it legendary. So, thank you so much for being here. And, Carlos, now I kind of want to move into the acting portion of, well, not really acting, the professional career that you have had. And I know last night you were just at an award show, and you're going to tell us a little bit about that. But actually, you know what? Talk about it right now. Where were you at last night?
Where was
Not in like a detective way. Where
no,
were you
but
at?
I went to the Emmy started coming up, right? And so I'm sure we'll talk about this, but we had an opportunity with our show to be part of the for your consideration this year. And every year they have a party for the members for the academy, different members, peer groups, And so they had one last night right before the Emmys. So we were celebrating, the strike has been over now for over a month, and it was so good. Like your energy right now, it was the same energy they had. Everybody's hugging and pictures. It's a celebration of the year that we had. They had to push the Emmys from September to now because of the strike. So it just felt like, okay, let's just get together and let's continue on. So I was at that event, and saw many of my other amazing artist partners. Some of the cast from Pepitos was there, so it was nice to see us united right before we get to the award show. So it was fun, a lot of good vibrations, and I hope that wherever you go, sometimes you just got to take that moment. You got to realize that that's a moment that you'll never get back. And so I take every second of it. So I'm always smiling and hugging and hey, what's up? So it was kind of like that.
That's awesome. And, I wanted to bring that up to everybody because this next question directly relates to that. So, you have probably been to a bunch of award ceremonies and award shows and just places where you're being recognized for your work. So, have you ever had a moment in the middle of these award shows where you had a flashback to say, wow, I always knew it was going to work out and all the hard work that I put into my efforts, I can finally enjoy that now. Maybe like a full circle moment if you want to describe it like that. But have you ever had any of those moments where like just time stands still and you just are in that moment of appreciation for where you are right now?
I get those moments more in like I had a Q&A recently over at the LA Live Film Festival, and I showed a whole bunch of episodes. And there is a moment. What I do is I take a moment literally, and I look around and I see all these people, and they're all just looking at you, and it's a little bit like, this is this happening kind of, but it's not, it hasn't really clicked to me like, wow, like, yeah, it's still almost unbelievable. Like I'm still, because I'm still reaching for that dream, it's not quite there yet for me. But I do take in the room, and I do have like, whoa. And there's been a couple where a little tear comes down, and I try to fight it, especially when I'm talking, because it's almost like, wow, from the fields in Michigan and all the way to this, and I'm still going at it after so many years. I must be crazy. Go like that, because it does take a little bit of a kookiness to be an artist. You gotta have a little bit of that because there's a lot of rejection.
Of course, and, actually, when I was telling you earlier, our stories just have so many similarities. That's one of the things that happened to me. This time last year, I went to go host and MC the Power of We event, and when I was doing my meditations on the way over to that event, and the Power of We, if you don't know, we spoke to over 300 kids in the Chicago
Oh
community
wow.
just to give them that self empowerment and anything that you want to do, you can do, but you just got to have the right mindset, and that spirit of resilience. So we're on our way over there to this. It was at the Stan Mansion, and this place is absolutely incredible. When I'm going over there, I'm just thinking, wow, any decision that I didn't make or any time that I didn't bet on myself wouldn't have led me to the road that I'm about to go in right now, which to go help the next generation and the youth, which is absolutely incredible. So that's why I really like our stories because you just never know where life can take you, but you just always have to bet on yourself.
Yeah, your viewers as well. They don't, even stars have doubts all the time. It's scary. You're putting on, you're doing things that they're insane. Like I really have to have uh, 30 people in my crew, or I have to deliver this monologue, and you feel insecure, and this happens all the time to even the best of us. So once you realize that you're not alone, that everybody in that room is also a little scared, then that's when you feel more comfortable, because everybody thinks, oh, here's the star, and they're also, oh my god, everybody's looking at me, I have to perform. It's either way. So the wherever you land, like what you were saying, it's the steps that you continue to build, the insecurities that you fight against, and when I'm insecure, you know what I do? When
What's
I'm
that?
insecure, I say, hey, I'm a little nervous. I just say it straight up. and then that kind of releases something, bro. Like it just comes out of me. I just say, I'm a little nervous, I haven't done it in a while, but and it just pops out. It's like a phew. So me that works for me because I remember I did a show called ER, and it was a Christmas story, and I was a guest star in it. And I have a scene. It was the first scene, no, the second scene, and we were outside of the ambulance bay, and we rehearsed, right? But I rehearsed with just me, and I forgot the name of the actress. She's a beautiful actress, Indian actress. I forgot her name. We did correct. We were okay. So all of a sudden they say, "All right, let's start." Ring ring. The bell goes on, and then all the extras show up, and then all right, and snow starts falling down, and all this stuff. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa! What the? I didn't. What's going on, man? Like it was super. All this stuff coming at me, and I'm starting action, and I say my first lines, and then she says her lines, and then I just went. I got lost because I felt snow coming on my eye and all this stuff, and it was so surreal. Cut. Do it again, dude. It happened again, and then I went, "Oh shit! Oh, I'm something's going on here." So then the woman with the script supervisor comes, and she says, "Are you okay, man? Are you okay, Carlos? You were doing fine." I go, "Yeah, yeah. I'm just a little nervous. All this stuff is happening." And she goes, "You're fine. Okay, you're gonna be fine." Sure enough, action. Oh, by the way, and the actress had told me this happens to us all the time. Don't feel bad. It happens to us all the time, Carlos. So so I did it. The third time, oh great. Okay, do it again. And then I was more relaxed and more comfortable. Then we switched the camera around, and it was her time. It was her close up, and guess what? She froze, even though we've done it all the time. So it happens, and we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. And so now that I'm older, I mean a little bit more seasoned, um, more peppered, I guess. I can say, hey, I'm a little nervous right off the spot if I am, and then everything just magic comes. People hug you because they're all supportive, and it takes a team, it takes a family to do what we're doing. Because without that, you can't make it, man. You have your viewerships are your supporters. I'm a big supporter. I just met you, and what you're doing here is fantastic. So we need all of them. And that day, it was the script supervisor that came in and helped me out.
Yep, and they're always gonna be there to support you. You just have to have that kind of awareness to see it too. I mean, hers was a little bit more in your face to say you're gonna be good, to get you where you needed to go. But they're always gonna send you the things that you need, in order to be successful. And you're never doing this alone, which is such a great point. Thank you for bringing that up. Because a lot of people think that whatever that they're going through, they're just doing it by themselves. No, you do have a support system out there, and it may be people that are complete strangers or somebody that's been with you since day one. But if you just recognize that and you use that
Yep.
positive fuel to do everything that you're doing, you're going to be a-okay. Take it from Carlos himself. He's been there in all of the most extreme environments, as we just heard. But if he can do it and I can do it, everybody can do it as well. So I want to talk a little bit more about your projects that you select. Because I know that everything that you do is really very entertaining, but it's also thought provoking as well. So can you tell us a little bit about like what drives your choices in selecting roles or really creating content?
Well, I never judge in any of the roles, because once an actor judges something like, "Oh, my character wouldn't do that," or this or that, you kill the character. So that goes out the window. So I'm always open. I bring a lot of my family members into the roles, or friends, or some people that I just see. So I'm open to whatever. Sometimes I'm watching a movie and I like this scene, and I say I could write about that scene, and I turn it into a project. Artists, all artists, we have to be open, and never our fillers have to be, feeling everything, smelling, tasting, music. Music helps a lot. Um, the One of the projects I saw was an HBO, and this one was the one that I ended up in over at Sundance at the Latino filmmakers group. We weren't selected at Sundance, but the people really believed in what I saw, that they actually put money into it, and then they created this event for just this one short with some other Latinos. Um,
Wow.
so I got some sponsors, bro, and it was about dying with dignity. And that was a topic that was very personal for me, and I had seen something on TV, and I got that project, and I made it. with humor. So nobody knew that it was a Dying with Dignity movie because everybody's laughing, and then all of a sudden, boom! It just hits you in your face, and people are crying. People are hugging me afterwards because I like to find universal chords in filmmaking or storytelling that you can relate. That you will. You're not. I'm not going to be a telenovela guy, but I'm going to put some humor in it. I want you to enjoy and look at ourselves as a species and have fun with what we're doing because we're only here for a little bit of time, and you got to do as much as you can and have fun with it. Don't get stressful, but so I'm open and I select the projects, like including Pepito, but all of the other shorts, and I've done 15, maybe 13, I don't remember, all gone to festivals. Some of them are comedy. You can see a lot of this on my what is it, on YouTube? I think I put it. I don't remember. Maybe it's on my website. Yeah, because I know one of them is on. It's on the internet. It's on a platform.
Mhm.
So anyhow, so I end up just being open, and I can get an idea from a comedian. I can get an idea from us, from you, and as long as it's in there, I just put it out, and then the next thing you know, I have it on the show.
Yeah, and I'm gonna take some credit for it. So the next time you do your role, I'm gonna say that's me right there. No,
Yeah,
I'm just
and
kidding. I would never.
I even have friends that I like their attitude. Like I have a friend of mine said, "Hey, I'm looking for an avocado tree. And anybody has an avocado tree? I have one. Okay, you're an actor, all right? What do you? Oh, I got it." And then I just write for this guy, and I put him in the freaking thing, and it's brilliant. I mean, it's funny.
That's beautiful, and that's beautiful that you can find it in anything too, in everybody. We can always learn something from everybody, whether it's the CEO, whether it's the janitor. I'm just so grateful that you kind of have that attitude, and we can teach other people on how to have that attitude of not discriminating, of really including everybody, and just seeing the value that every individual on
Yep.
this earth has to offer. So
Yep.
we have to talk about one more question because we're going to play our second commercial for tonight. And then we're going to really dive into Pepito's America, which I think everybody's just going to love because there's just so many great elements to it that we need to know more about. So finally, I know you have a lot of big projects that you've done. And even for something preparing like, the shorts that you made or any project that you've done, what's the difference of, let's say, I'm just going to take your two, projects that are coming off the top of my head. A role like Transformers that you were in versus the show like Dexter that you brought about earlier, or maybe I know you were even the movie Coco, which is absolutely a smash hit. What is the differences and like how do you approach each role differently, and what are kind of the nuances between the roles that you've gone into?
Good question. Next question. Sorry. Just kidding. The approach of a role. Okay, so it's through. You never stop asking questions as an actor. So, like for Transformers, I walked in the audition looking. I had a mechanic. I looked like the mechanic. I put dirt here, a very detailed. Like I was like, I literally looked like I just came from a freaking auto shop. Walked into in there, and then I walked in, and then the casting associate said, "Oh, are you here to read for the clown?" And I was like, "What?" I was like, "What?" So she fed me in the audition, and I said, "Well, I guess I can read the clown. Let me look at what is he. Oh, he has this line." So she goes, "Well, let's just do the what you this first, and then we'll do the clown." I was pissed, man. I was pissed. So I just let it. I left it there on the floor, like walked out. That day, by the way, I booked 3 movies on one day. That it was a big, big, day, big month for me. And so, Transformers wasn't called Transformers; it was called Prime Director. That was the title. So once I booked the job, then I said, all right, this guy has a family. And I start doing my own research, and I start putting my family or other people that I've learned or that I know that are, have been like the salt of the earth guy, blue collar guy. And he has a family, so I write everything down, his past, what's going on right now. Does he have issues? Does he have bags? Does he like to drink? Does he smoke? All these questions. And guess what? That makes it interesting. That makes it fun. And acting is about fun. It's not about lines, memorization. No, find your bro or your character and ask questions all the way to the top. Till the very end, I said, I need a big uh, wrench. And I said, find me the biggest wrench. And I'm looking around, and then you see me with a freaking big wrench as I'm talking for Transformers. So it never stops. And I just came out of me like, I need to walk there like with something. And I bought this. The wrench was like this big, and I'm small guy. So you never stop asking. You look what's in front of you and go. So I'm always working. It's the technique, it's the method, it's the madness, it's the love, it's the being a child, being a kid in your playground and making believe, because the more I believe, the more you will believe. And the
Yep.
more you believe, the more I believe. So it's a cycle as an artist. So that's that. Then for Coco, you're just having fun. In the Coco, the director's telling you, say it, because you have to audition, and then you go out and you talk. There's other actors that are there that are helping out, and say, you three, come over here. You go up to the microphone, and then you audition right on the spot. And you don't know if you're going to be getting that character or not. So, because we did a lot of the other characters, like the group that I was in, and I got a whole bunch of little characters. And so you just got to be open, and you got to come out. This is my uncle. This is the guy I met last week. This is the kid so I'm always open like a sponge. And I think all artists, we all need to do this. Not lines. Do I look pretty? This. I mean, that's not an art. You're doing no. This is not TikTok acting. TikTok acting.
Why are you calling me out today, Carlos? I thought we were friends, man.
Yeah. Since you ask, it goes. It's deep as an art, man. And so, but I have fun, because if you're not having fun, something's wrong. And acting is about fun.
Of
And the
course.
very, very thing. And that's how I have fun, by asking questions. Maybe over here, maybe over there. Maybe, I put rocks under in my shoes sometimes when the character can't, something's wrong with him. And I'm like, well, I need to feel it. So I put a rock under in the sock and the shoe, and then all of a sudden I'm limping. And oh my God, this actor's good. No, I have a rock there, bro.
Yeah, it's real. That would drive me nuts. I don't know how you would do that. That would be a role if I was like very pissed off and I wanted to attack somebody. That's what
Right.
I would do. Or wet socks would be another thing that just drives me nuts.
I mean,
But
there was one audition where it was like a reenactment, and I played like a mean guy. You know what I did in the audition? I walked in, and there's this girl, and she was sitting, and I'm like the leader of a group of guys, and we take her for hostage, and this is like in the middle of Central America, and I see all these guys there, and I'm towards the very end, and I booked the job, but the casting director, the producer says, "You know why you booked the job?" And I go, "Why?" He goes, "Because when you started, before you even started, you looked at her, and then you went down, and then you started smelling her shoulders." And it was creepy. And then she woke up. That was the creepiest thing, because we didn't know what you were going to do. Again, be in the moment, look at her, and honest to God, she smelled good when I was there in the room. She smelled, I think it was her shampoo. So I just used it.
yeah, so you had
Scary.
to, you had to be very scary and menacing with somebody smelling like shampoo, right? And
Yeah.
luckily, this is a family friendly show, so I'm not going to say the joke. I'll tell you after. Remind me to tell you the joke that I was going to say.
Yeah.
But we do have to go to a quick commercial break, and everything from here on out is going to be totally about Pepitos America. And we're going to play the commercial first. And everybody, I want you to see this trailer. It's absolutely brilliantly just made, and the quality is just all the way there. So we're going to hear a word from our quick sponsor first, and we're going to play the trailer for Pepitos America. We're going to jump right into it. So everybody, like, share, do whatever you have to do to raise your vibrations, because it's time to play the commercial and then the trailer for Pepitos America. So let's get it, everybody.
As a voice, we all need to stand up, as a voice, this little song is a dedication to every single country in the world, maintaining all the order that we have. Let's know so for we count for, make sure the water is clean. Prevention is better than cure. A lot of lives being lost.
Legend has it, there is a boy that goes by Papito. whose antics are so humorous, you'll shit your pants.
Sí, güey.
Thanks, Pepito.
Well, that boy has grown up. Well, kinda. Lives in South Central Los Angeles with his grandmother.
To pick up my money, you know you owe me nothing.
No,
But nothing. I want to make sure that I'm getting paid what I'm owed. Okay?
Do you like the English alphabet or Chinese character?
Chinese character, of course.
And Pepito has a lot of talents.
Where's the mask?
Why would anyone want to cover this face?
Pepito is a hustler.
Mating call.
And does a lot of local things. Pepito's America.
Beautiful, everybody. So there's Pepito's America. And Carlos, I can already tell what your favorite scene in that whole trailer was. You started laughing really, really hard when it popped up. And it's what she's saying, "Ay, papi." You had me cracking up back here. But go ahead, Carlos, take the floor. What did we just watch? What is Pepito's America all about?
A dream. That's the first thing I got to say. A dream that's been in me for a while now. And I got this idea being exhausted, Latinos fighting for the same roles that were only given. And there's not that many. And we're always like fighting for that same role. So I said, how can I unite? I can unite Latinos. What is it? What can I do to fit us all in the umbrella and we can all see ourselves? And I said, wait, there's these jokes that have been around for 100 years. My grandparents knew it. My parents, I knew them. I know them. All Latin American countries know them, baby. Including Brazilians. He has a couple of different names. Some of them is Jaimito and Juanito, but I like Pepito because it has a funny way. It's funnier in the mouth. And I decided to do little mamadas where they're called snippets, tonterias, funny little clips, ideas, examples of what the show can be. And I said, Hollywood is not knocking on my door, because I have several. I'm going to just make my own table. I'm going to bring my own chairs and I'm going to make them watch it's in my head. And so I started putting it together with friends with no budget until like last year we raised some money to do the episodes that are now hopefully will be soon in platform and a nice platform. And so I just wanted the first thing was to unite all Latinos together under the umbrella of this character who is you and me. And women can see the character because he's lonely, he's sad, but in front, like you and I, we smile and everything's fine. But in reality, there's stuff inside us all the time. So he's you and I, and he's in LA trying to make it. So I made Pepito all those jokes as a little boy, how crazy he would be if he would be a man, and all of that drama, all of that luggage, all of those jokes, what kind of individual this guy would be. And so you saw a little bit of example in the trailer, and those are actual scenes from the episodes that I just put together. So in a nutshell, that was the idea, is to bring Pepito to America and share our first superhero, because he was our little first superhero as a kid. He was before Bart Simpson. He was before Dennis the Menace. He was before any of those guys. So I said, it's time for us to showcase this kid and what would happen as a man. Now, they have done films as him as a little boy, but the films, the guy acts like a little boy, like, no, mommy, no, this and that. It's not real like what he would be as a man. And so there's insecurities, and comedy is in everything. So you'll get to laugh, or people laugh at the situations.
Yeah, and thank you so much for sharing that and giving the Latino community actually a place to be heard and to be seen. Because I actually had another actor, his name was Antonio McKay, and he was I believe he was Colombian as well. He says the same thing. It's always the same roles, whether it's like an immigrant, or like you said, a mechanic. And it's just, we are so much more diverse than that. And we have so many more things to offer. So thank you so much for actually including that and showing the different sides of the Latino community, whether it's the good
Yeah.
side, the bad sides, and everything in between, because we all have something to offer.
Yep.
And that gentleman that I'm looking at that's right behind you, how does that play into Pepito's America?
So in the if when the universe provides us with a huge backing, I'm gonna make him speak. This is me as a little boy. Somebody character we made a little character when I was a kid, and in the actual episodes, the real one, like the show,
Mhm.
we're gonna have flashbacks when he was a boy, and we're gonna show some of these jokes that we'll come up with to show how witty he was even as a kid. And I'm putting this in a lot of the things because it kind of helps me and helps others to really see it. And it's an image now that people see this and they relate it to the show immediately. When we were part of the consideration for the Emmys, same thing. It's this image stays there. It's like, when are we going to see this? I go, we're going to see it when we get the financing from the studios, and we're going to make him talk. And I can't wait to do that. So that's why I'm saying it's still a dream. I'm still working at it.
Awesome. And there's one detail in your entire answer that I really want to point out. And it was the very first word that you just used in that whole answer that you just gave, which was absolutely amazing. But I want to touch on that. You said if, and then you had to change that real quick. And you said when it provides. And that subtle difference is the difference of things actually happening with the power of our word versus, it maybe just being left up to by chance. And I just want everybody out there, if you were just constantly, trying to chase that and saying if, and if you're not sure and you kind of have that shaky energy, then that's just what you're going to receive in return. Maybe producers, for you, example, the producers that are kind of shaky or things that aren't built on a solid foundation. But since you said when it happens, that means it's going to happen. You can have a lot of faith in it, and you just know without a shadow of a doubt that it will transpire that way. And
Yep.
I think it's so important that everybody really takes that into their everyday life, whatever it is that they're going to do. Know it's going to happen. Have that faith, and just, it's not even a matter of time because it is going to happen. It's just about enjoying the journey at that point as well. So yeah, so thank you. I didn't want it to take away everything that you just said with the character, but that was a huge point that I wanted everybody to know about.
Yeah, it's important. And I have to, I still, because the, like I said, every artist, we still have those insecurities that roam around, and you have to check them, when you see them. So that's why I said if, and then I went, oh no, when?
Yeah.
When does, and we're going to make him speak. And so he is the face of our show. He's the star of our show because he is Pepito, this kid. And what a, I'm so grateful that I'm allowed to do this for to bring such an iconic figure in the Latin community, and bring him here and give voice to this character that's been around. Nobody ever thought about doing a TV show about this one kid. And the
Well,
sad thing is nobody knows knows the right. Nobody owns the right, because these are jokes, like knock knock jokes or whatever other jokes you can think of. I think there's one called blonde jokes or something. So nobody owns those rights. And so I just got it, and I just presented it. I executed, I planned it, produced, directed, writer, act, edit, the whole thing, music, the whole thing, and boom, it goes out.
beautiful. And I know you I don't know if you can keep it under wraps just yet, but do you have any exciting news that you can share with us about the development of Pepito's America?
Well, we have, okay, so you can see some of the episodes on pepitosamerica.com, but not for too long, because we are in talks right now,
Okay.
and we're hoping that real soon, it could be next week, it could be the end, we'll have some really great news to share. We already filmed the second season for Mamadas. The first one is called Cochino Hills, followed by followed by Nitwits. They're knitting and they're nitwits. We have Guacamole, We have Friqueado Friday and a Spooky Saturday. So- and then there's one more. I can't think of the last one, but there's 6 episodes that are already done and ready to be put out. But I'm waiting for hopefully this thing that we're going with, and it's really that's the other part that people don't understand. Like you're behind going, ah! But at the same time you gotta be cool. But the second season is ready.
Awesome. And everybody, keep your eyes peeled for that. Carlos, once that comes into development at the show, where can people go to find out more about it and to keep themselves updated on Pepitos America?
Well, the updates will be on the Facebook. We have pepitosamerica.com. Pepitos America is the actual the name of the actual show, and I call it Mamadas because these are snippets of what the show is about. So we have Instagram for Pepitos America. We got Facebook Pepitos America, and we have the website Pepitos America. YouTube is also Pepitos America, but YouTube you'll find some stuff in there. But I had to take some of it out, as I told you. We had 10 episodes. No, we had 13, but I took 10 out, and you can see 3 up to a certain limit of time on pepitosamerica.com. And I might have to take that out soon because it'll be hopefully. No, it will be on platforms.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. You see, you knew I was going to say something about it.
Am I learning from you, huh?
Yeah. So thank you so much, Carlos. We really appreciate it. And we only have literally maybe about 2 or 3 minutes left on the show. But I always wrap up the show in the same exact way because I think this question is so important. And you are literally the epitome of the person that I would want to answer it because of your style, your energy, and just your passion and knowledge towards the subject. So if somebody right now is in their deepest, darkest times and they're watching and they're not sure how to climb out of that hole or how to find the light, what advice would you have to give to these people?
I've been through that. So what I do for myself, and this helps me, is I celebrate. I celebrate what I've had been given, the stuff that I've had in the past, because it is important in order for us to move forward to celebrate that you're alive. The chances of us being here are astronomical, man. I don't even know. You have parents for thousands of years, men and women. We have reproductive systems in our bodies, and every day they get produced and removed, and for hundreds of thousands has been going on. And for your mom and dad to come together, and then this happens, and then we're here because we're special, and you have to understand how special we are, and that is so significant. So whenever I feel down, I always look at my past, all the good things that I've done, and reflect, have a little celebration. For me, it could be going to the beach, it could be helping others will take you out of my self-doubt, my dark moments. Always help somebody out, because there's always somebody that has it even much more worse than what you're going through. And that is another thing. So give back, and you will find pleasure in helping others, and then you yourself get out of that situation.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I told you guys, I told the viewers, my positivity posse, that Carlos was going to drop the golden nuggets for us today. Thank you so much for being on here today, sharing your stories, your laughter, your journey, and everything in between. We really do appreciate it. And Luce says, what not? Oh, when, not if. So when we talked about that earlier, it's inevitable.
Exacto. Gracias. Yes.
Of
It's
course, of
inevitable.
course.
Thank you.
So everybody, I just want to say, like what you just said, that when you have that attitude of gratitude, it's just all coming back full circle. And you, like you said, celebrate yourself or have that gratitude. It really is going to take you out of whatever it is that you're going to and propel you on that right trajectory. That you know where you need to be. So one more time, Carlos, where can people go to reach out to you, to find you, and maybe find Pepitos Americas in the future?
Okay, for me, it's Carlos Moreno Jr. on all social media platforms, including the website, carlosmorenojr.com. For Pepito, it's Pepitos America without the apostrophe.com. Go look at the 3 episodes that are available. And then Facebook, and the other ones is Pepitos America, period. So YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Thank you so much, man. I really had a fun time with you and your viewers. I hope we can circle back real soon.
Yeah, definitely. We're gonna make that happen, whether it's doing it in person or maybe even having a part two with the future updates of everything that's going on. We will meet again, and not you're not dead or nothing. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to make it sound like that, but at least if you are, then I'm just going crazy, right? I'm just talking to a ghost. No, I'm just kidding. But thank you so much for being here. Next week, to everybody, to my positivity posse, we have Paul Asplin coming on next week. He has a nonprofit dedicated to help the homeless people in Skid Row in LA. So that's going to be an absolutely incredible episode as well. But Carlos, thank you so much for being here. I just want to show one more comment that you guys have left in the live chat. It was a right here. Great episode. Thank you so much for staying here. And
Thank
right
you.
here as well. Great show, Dano and Carlos. We really do appreciate it. So Carlos, remember, I still got to tell you that joke. It's really funny. So don't go anywhere. I want to talk to you after. And to my positivity posse, thank you so much. Have a great weekend. And I'll see you next week for another episode of Weekly Dose of Dano TV. Peace, everybody.